How's it going, Commanders? I'm Feca, and this is my tutorial series on how to play Starborne. This first video is going to be about assaulting. I think it's one of the biggest questions. Exactly what do I do? What's kind of a checklist? What should I be looking for when you're kind of playing the game of Starborne? Primarily, this is about you get a week or two in. ESA is obviously worn off for a bit now, and you're kind of getting to your first conflict, and a lot of those end up being like a station conflict. So I've had my good friend Muse set up over here to kind of demonstrate this. So say he had this station, you had your station, you were good neighbors, but then all of a sudden, you both kind of want this gas planet, right? How these are right now, they're contested hexes, so neither of us are being able to harvest these. That's a problem for me, perhaps, right? And so I want to take them out. I think this is a big mentality for a lot of new players. This is kind of what you're going to go through. It's a war game, obviously, so you want to fight something. You've been saving up your ships for a while. I think a lot of new players will pretty much just go straight into it, right? You got your bombers, you're feeling good about it. You got some corvettes, you've read that you should escort, and you kind of just go straight into the assault, right? And this is actually an ultra fast mode for people that may not be 100% aware of how Starborne works. It would normally take a lot longer. And look, we're wiped, right? And so we can go check our messages. We got a new message. And what happens is we sent our 1,700 fleets, and we don't even know what he had. He had stomped us so bad. This is something you definitely obviously don't want to happen because these are your fleets you've been working hard to get a hold of. So we're going to go ahead and get our fleets back. Maybe you've been saving up for a while. Maybe you're lucky, or maybe you watched this video and you didn't even welcome in the first place. So this may be how you're at. I would say the original first step you should always be doing is go ahead and just spy your enemies. You have the spies; they're constantly coming back. That one's an unfortunate. We didn't get it, but here it is. We got it this time, and we can see he has 385 scouts here. That's obviously not enough to stop my corvettes and my bombers. What we do see though is he has this outpost here, the missile battery level 5. That thing is going to really mess you up, as we saw from our previous attack. So anytime you see one of those, you're going to want to devise a plan to kind of knock that out. And how that generally works is using scouts or recons to kind of probe the area. And this is something else I'd always be saying you're doing. You always want to probe your enemies. We pretty much probe entire sectors when we're playing as an alliance. You can kind of go to the station, go ahead and I spied. You go here, explore, scan, send. And once again, on super ultra fast mode, so it would normally take a little bit longer. I would recommend often moving as many fleets as you can up here to the front line. And that would make this travel a lot shorter in game. For demonstration purposes, it obviously really doesn't matter. And looky here, we found us a missile battery level 5. Now, in order to take out something like this, there's a special move your recons and your scouts have called a sabotage move. And this would disable this missile battery. So next time we attack, we can actually hit them. Okay. So how that would go is you go and you look at the hit points here. It's kind of here in the middle of the screen. I can't really point to it because it's going to move it down. But it's there. It's almost 200k. So what we're going to do is go ahead and sabotage outpost. Bring these in here. And the total firepower is above 200k. It's 376k. So we can go ahead and send that. Sending this sabotage movement is going to disable that, and we'll see that here in a second. Boom, there's his damaged. If we go ahead and we click spy, and we see here, boom, missile battery level 5 damaged. Fleets are actually gone. We should be good to go, right? We go ahead this time. I would say often be more cautious. Always send an assaulting fleet first. Knock out any remaining resistance. We'll send that assault. And if this is clear, we're going to go ahead and just send our gunships in, call it a day. And bam, we got hit again. We're obviously there. We've seen the spy report. There's nothing there. So what could have happened, right? There is a potential for these neighboring stations to help out. So as well as probing, which you're always going to want to do. You're going to send probes around. You should always be probing everybody's stations. As well as doing that, we can go ahead and do a spy report just to check. And here in the spy report, holy crap, they're loaded with destroyers, tons of heavy fleets, and here we go, a logistics hub. Now, this logistics hub is letting all these fleets defend wherever it touches. And so I know it's here now. I know it has to be kind of close. I've sent my probe there and it's not there. Something you may see is, so this has a base scan strength of 566. In order to see a logistics hub, you're going to need 700. So I think a lot of new players also end up doing stuff like this where they're scanning. They're like, all right, I'm doing what I was supposed to do. And it doesn't end up working out. So by adding a card like this, you're adding 200 more fleet strength, scan strength. It goes from 566 to 766. And now we should be able to scan again, kind of scan in this area a little bit, and see if we can't pick up what he's hiding. And here it is. Here's the logistics hub. It doesn't show the correct range because he probably has some kind of cards or something on it. But that's obviously covering here. So what we then do, we do the same thing. We recheck this missile battery, make sure he hasn't ninja repaired this, and go ahead and knock this out. As you guys see, I've actually lost a few fleets because if you remember the original star reports, he actually put scouts here in Muse 5. Their scouts will defend your scouts in these type of movements. And we see that was damaged. It has 260k hit points about, and we had about 300k firepower. We have some pretty well carded fleets. So now we've checked off this box. We made sure there's no logistics hub. If there's any more stations kind of nearby, we'd also check those. Now we'll do it again. We'll go ahead and we'll max out our fleets. And we'll go ahead and attack this way. And this time, once again, we can probably go ahead and spy just one time to make sure. Nothing missile battery, no fleets. We see some stuff in his hangar, but we're not worried about that. We send the assault. Anytime you send your gunships, send them with escorts, guys, because that just adds more health points to the amount of firepower that it's going to be taking. So that's one big thing I think a lot of people do too. You'd see something simple like this. We've gone through the whole checklist and we realize there's no way you can kill me. For me, it doesn't matter. I'm still sending escorts, right? And if I wasn't in this ultra fast mode, I'd be sending my scouts to land to re-sabotage their outposts, even though they stay damaged, a second before my attack lands. So to do that, I would normally just re-sabotage these for good measure. Obviously, before my attack lands. It lands. I didn't lose anything. He's down to 21 influence. I can kind of send these back over and over again, as long as he's not, responding. Obviously, constantly checking these to make sure they're still damaged. Knock them out again, and there we go. And the station right now, they would normally explode. That's something that's not currently working. I think you just test everything. You should be able to see that explosion in game. But that's kind of how you take out your first station. There's a few checklist items there. I felt the need to make this video because I see a lot of guys with their brand new gunships. They're ready to use them. They're ready to go out. And successfully doing an assault is a multi-step process. So it's just how I would say it is: you're going to go make sure you're spying the guys, make sure you're laying out the probes. I would probe their whole station. I wouldn't stop, right? They're free. Yeah, it just takes up the amount of time. Obviously a little bit longer, but you can get buildings to speed that kind of stuff up. Land those sabotages, hopefully 1 second before. Then you're going to assault. And then after you've done the assaulting, after you've done the sabotaging, then start doing your bombers with escorts. And I think that's a pretty good ground rules. This is obviously small combat. This is obviously very beginner stuff. We haven't touched on a bunch of other things that, would help, like carding, alliance assaults, like doing stuff as a group. But this will get you at least started in your ventures out there. So thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you learned something. Maybe you'll use something against me. Maybe this assault will be against me, maybe in the future. Make sure to check out our Fight Against Portland podcast if you are more interested in kind of a higher overview of the game. We have a lot of guests on there that play the game. And have a good one, guys. Bye.